Hi, I am Maddie, an Italian digital artist and storyteller living in Brighton. I'm so happy you joined me for this tutorial today. So gear up because we are going to learn how to design a cookbook page together. Are you a soon-to-be star chef who wants to design your own cookbook? Or do you have a client in gastronomy? Or maybe you just want to do this for fun? Drawing food is probably one of the funniest ways to express your creativity. Let's start by setting up our canvas to A4, a standard paper format in Europe. And then add a block color background in this shade of pink. Not too bright, not too dull, just right. To separate the sections of my page, I'm adding a red rectangle at the top half. This will be the edge of the table. I think that red and pink are a great color pairing when it comes to making your design eye-catching. Let's add our sketch on a new layer and lower the opacity to 20%. Here's what we're working with. Up top here, we'll add the name of the recipe. I've decided on penne arrabbiata, probably one of my favorites. And I've selected a thin and tall serif font because I thought it gave an elegant feel to the typography. While here at the bottom, I am adding a big rectangle shape. Let's round up the corners. And let's also add a tail-looking detail up top with the polygon tool. I'm creating a triangle which I'm rounding up with the node tool. Double tap to transform any straight lines into curves. This detail not only helps with the flow of the design by pointing the viewers in the right direction, but it also fits with our font. Alright, there's a lot more to do, so let's focus on the food. To make one penne, or is it penna? Start off with one rectangle. Add an oval to the top and copy that to the bottom. The second one needs to be part of the main body, so use Unite to merge the two shapes. Then add some small tiny lines, quintessential to penne. We don't want them to be smooth. And finally, add an internal stroke to the oval at the top to give the illusion of thickness to our piece of pasta. Group everything, and we have one penne done. Not all pasta will sit on the same direction, so let's change the perspective by editing the oval at the top. Follow the same process and create as many pieces as you need. Of course, we'll need a lot more. But let's create the plate first. We start with one big white oval in the center. Copy and paste the shape, give it a deep blue color, and resize this to create the deep part of the plate. I also added another slanted beige oval to the mix, to make the plate look like fine ceramics. And now, duplicate the pasta as many times as you want. We have all the sauce that gathers at the bottom of the plate, so draw it, however it's more comfortable for you. I decide to use the pencil tool. Let's add some extra sauce on top with the pencil tool, but change the color to a gradient that goes from red to transparent. It's more realistic since it is a liquid. This looks good to me. So, let's turn up the heat with some garnish. With the pencil tool again, I'm creating some small chili flakes. What makes this recipe special is the spicy kick. And then I switched the brush tool for the parsley. I'm going to use a brush that gives me a leaf-looking shape. This should do it. And then just freehand some little green leaves here and there. Quick tip: when you have to add a lot of small particles to a drawing, create just a few and then copy and paste the group over and over again. The important thing is to position them in a scattered manner, so that the particles' position looks random. To make it look more inviting, I'm adding this simple fork here with a few penne on it. It's as if someone is just about to enjoy their first bite. Okay, now let's focus on each ingredient. The oil bottle and tomato can I'm building from basic shapes. This is the best advice that I can give you. Any illustration, simple or complex, is made from scratch with simple shapes combined together. A way to build shapes with vectors is by using Boolean operations or the Shape Builder tool. It drastically changes the way you view vector objects, I promise. Using basic shapes also ensures that you respect the perspective and all your lines are parallel the way they should be. So when adding a label on the olive oil, the simplest way to think of it is like this. The lines of the label need to stay parallel with the lines of the bottom and the top of the bottle. You can use guides for more precision. While the label on the tomato can should follow the same curvature as the oval at the top and at the bottom. This is why it is also important to duplicate your shapes. Don't forget the little details on the label. Let's finish this off with some shadows. My source of light comes from the upper right, so naturally this side of the bottle will be darker. Use multiply blending mode here to make sure that the shadow blends with the colors underneath. Same for the tomato can. Alright, let's do the herbs. I'm going to just trace one leaf with the pencil tool. Then I'll duplicate it a few times to make it a cluster. And then I'm going to create a few more clusters on the same stem. And continue duplicating until the parsley looks full and natural. The garlic is probably one of my favorite elements in this design. I love the fact that it has so much dimension created by the bumps of each clove. To create these curved shapes, you just need to tap 4 times with the pen tool and then double tap twice to give it a curve. The chili and salt were quite simple, so let's whip them up quickly. I find any design half-baked without shadows and highlights, so let's focus on that next. It's going to make a big difference. All these objects here will cast a shadow on the table to their left, so I'm using the red color to trace some shadow shapes. They will always take the form of the original object, so creating them is a pretty organic process. For complex shapes, like the parsley, I'm just going to duplicate the original, color it red, place it underneath, and adjust it to the angle of the perspective. So much easier this way. I have a full tutorial that explains how to shade with vectors, so be sure to check that out. At the end of the day, it all boils down to practice. Then, of course, we have the reverse of the coin, which are highlights. The bottle and the can take a very angular highlight. But all the other ingredients will take a more natural shape, which I'm drawing with the pencil tool. The color of my highlight is a white to transparent gradient. The last detail is the recipe itself. I've written down the recipe in my notes. Let's copy and paste it here, in the white box, so it stands out. And I thought that we can help out the cooks by adding the name and quantity of each ingredient right next to their vector representation. This way they can understand the recipe at one glance. This recipe serves 2 people, so let's mention that. And that's it! This is the final result of the cookbook page design. I had so much fun creating this for you. And as an Italian, it is very important for me to share a recipe from my country with you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please comment down below your thoughts. Like the video if it was helpful, and stay tuned for my next tutorial. Bye!